Invictus Gaming able to pick up game number 1 over OMG, who are looking to try and see if they can pull some form of a victory here today against the dominant IG in their last match here from the Superman Mall Arena in Shanghai before they move to their stadium in Chengdu. And if they want to do just that, Raz, it needs to start from picks and bans, because it seems like IG heavily prioritizing their bottom lane at the moment. Varus and Tahm Kench, their first 2 picks, worked out well for them. Balan with the MVP, Jackie with the highlight plays as well.
Yeah, and I know that 5 can play Janna, right? It just comes to a point where you look towards this priority from Invictus Gaming, getting themselves a Varus and Tahm Kench, and you recognize that they're saying if you pick any tank, we have a proper support matchup. We have a proper mid 80 carry matchup. Varus does so well just because of the range that he has going up against the Kalista. And then they counterpicked Orianna into the Rise. So already, Invictus Gaming have a proper bottom side of the map. So from that point forward, already success for them. I think they have to challenge that initially going into game 2.
Yeah, we'll have to see if OMG can do just that, because their pick and ban didn't look too bad themselves. You got the priority pick of the main tank in the jungle at the moment, which is Sejuani. Rise is still a very popular pick in 8.2 in general, but with that counter pick from coming out from Orianna, it didn't seem like things are working out for OMG. As you mentioned earlier, big CS leads for IG across the map.
Yeah, and so it comes down to how it all pieces together if you're OMG, because Sejuani, that's fair for Jaco, because we recognize from last split he's a facilitator, so give him something that can start fights, can keep lanes up and ahead. If he can go to that point, that's great. Rise also very much works for how Icon has been playing this split. That's been something, a pick that he's gone towards consistently. But then if you're picking yourselves 2 bad matchups just based off comfort alone, look towards your support. I already mentioned the Janna, maybe a Lulu, just something that you can say, well, we'll try and win this lane. We'll try and find some form of advantage there, or towards the top side of the map, because they've held GP for the very end. Sure, he's a massive priority pick, but it's not a good matchup.
And not to take anything away from 5 as well, although he picked up Rakan in that last match. He looked good on the champion, had some great initiations, just OMG was so far behind at that point. Didn't seem like they had any way to bring themselves into the game to start with. Or the early game was entirely controlled by Invictus Gaming, and they didn't have any way to break through IG's line.
Yeah, they just were not expecting how fast of a game and how clean of a game Invictus Gaming were going to give them, because we already saw the Gathering Storms being built, and they thought that, sure, we have bad matchups, we can hold on for a little bit. Sure, we have like 10 CS behind, we can bunker down just a little bit more. But then I hit that point just before we went on the break, just that control ward being placed, heavy wards being placed by IG. They just tried to contest 1 ward. They just tried to say, well, that's our red side jungle, we can just clear that 1 vision. No, Invictus Gaming immediately pounced on that position and got a kill off of it, and then just got so much more based off that 17-minute 3 outer turrets. They don't expect that. So they're going to have to go into this next game and say suddenly it's like, well, we have to put our full force into the early game.
And that must be really scary if you're OMG. You sit back, you want to scale. Your top side is a gangplank Sejuani and Rise. Go into late game, I'm happy with that.
Oh,
You've got a Kalista Rakan, perfect initiation from the bottom lane. But as you mentioned, IG not even willing to give up a single ward. They fight for that and take it to OMG. That must be scary, making it feel like you're always pressured at any single time.
Yeah, that's definitely threatening. You look towards your bottom side of the map, you're like, can you guys please push that out so Tahm Kench isn't always here? Which might be their, I would say, their motivation for taking Tahm Kench too. Once he pings sick and suddenly you're like, wait a minute, he's always here. Like, there's never a time he's there, unless if we get Runan's Hurricane on the Kalista so she can actually try and contest the push. Otherwise, it just seems like there's always going to be 4 people to a play if they're not looking for a TP.
Which kind of begs the question, what do OMG do moving into picks and bans for game number 2? Because they have to do something that can break apart this early game from IG. If not, same thing's going to happen over and over again. They're going to keep putting this pressure into OMG, and they're not going to know how to react.
Well, I believe OMG's red side, and you have Icon on your team. He had already had 1 amazing LeBlanc play this, or at least LeBlanc game. It was his highest KDA this split. Give him a counter pick, see what you can do. If you're not going to give him the counter pick in terms of like the matchup, the trading, give him something that has priority in the lane like an Azir and see what he can do.
Well, Icon has been the focal point for OMG for a while, paired up with Jericho now heading into the jungle. Let's see if they can pull this one back. We're going to send it over to our shoutcasters to take it away.
Thanks so much, guys. And I really want to pick up on that conversation when you guys left off, because it's really, right now, OMG is just bleeding out in these lanes. Right now, they're not able to win pound for pound in their lanes, and they just need to find a place where they can actually win. And do you think it's mid lane? Do you think Icon is the hero that we need right now for OMG to find that winning lane?
So I think the problem is that Icon might be flashy, and we've seen him go into that last counter pick for him, the red side last pick, where he picked up LeBlanc and cast in. But the truth of the matter is, so far, it hasn't worked. So his counter pick champions, even though he's very good on them, they're simply so far out of the meta that a lot of times they aren't able to contest with what is inside the meta.
Sure.
And that has been a huge problem for Icon in this split especially. So they could try it. I'm not sure it's going to work. What I really want to see them do, however, is get some form of crowd control on their jungler. If that happens, then maybe they can find a timing where IG's lanes are pushing too far and they can punish it really hard. But if they pick the Sejuani and they play a passive early game against someone like Ning, I think Ning's just going to suffocate them once more. So I think the jungle pick is going to be massive for them.
Right, and try and allow those lanes as they are to try and play up, because as you're right, in the last game they didn't really have a chance because Ning was just breathing down their necks at all times, ready to go. We're going to take a look at these bans. However, it will be Rise and Kha'Zix from Invictus Gaming, and at the same time it will be Camille and Zoe from OMG. We'll see if we see a Tam Kench ban. I feel like there has to be at some point from OMG, because Baolan picks up the MVP there, but I was sat here thinking pretty much all he did was sat there and waited for the chance to hit his W button on his AD carry who was going off. So it was just like, this pick is too easy to execute for Invictus Gaming.
Definitely. I could have done that execution for that game. You know, I don't have a very high ranking, but, you know, I could stand around.
I can hit W.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's Abyssal Voyagers were okay too, but we don't talk about those. But OMG, final ban will be the Jarvan, so leaving out the opportunity for a Tam Kench on first phase. Invictus Gaming, though, looking towards their first pick.
This is interesting, because what this signals is basically they're telling Ning, hey, pick your Sejuani first pick. We know you like to do it, and that's your only champ, kind of your favorite champion left. If you're not going to do it, I'll do it. So that's kind of trying to get a pinch and trying to get a reaction out of Invictus Gaming right there, try to goad them into that passive early jungle. And if we talk about the rest of the bans, Kha'Zix is actually pretty interesting because that's one of Jeku's most played. What Jeku's really known for is that counter ganking type of style where he sits in the lane and really waits to pounce on you.
Azir will be the first pick, though, from Invictus Gaming, going down to Rookie. So actually not choosing to go for anything more defensive or neutral. Definitely looking to deal some damage in this game as a first pick priority. Once again, it will be the Varus coming out from OMG, but it will be coming from OMG, rather, not Invictus Gaming. So down to Chelly there.
Varus, I'm sorry, Azir so far really has been untouched in the patch 8.2, still a very strong pick. And OMG do get the goat that they wanted for out of banning Jarvan. They do send Ning into the kind of the Sejuani pick that they want, which opens up other champions that they can kind of find their early game with. Stuff like Lee Sin, stuff like Rek'Sai even. They could get more of a footing in the early game.
Let's see if OMG do it here, because it will be Sejuani from Invictus Gaming, however. Braum was also going alongside the Varus in the bottom lane, so actually not going towards the Tam Kench themselves. Now Invictus Gaming, final pick on the first phase. What's it going to be?
They could just go over a very safe Gnar once more. I mean, that pick has been working for them. Or they could be thinking about the AD carry position, because in this patch, you have to remember that Vayne was pretty much taken out of the meta, so there is a bit of a pinch on that AD carry position. They do go for that and pick up the Ezreal.
Well, I didn't read the Mandarin characters there, but I saw a LeBlanc, so I have to assume they're talking about Icon there.
Definitely.
Indeed, has played the LeBlanc, and as we were saying earlier, unfortunately his champions have been taken out of the meta. No Ahri, no Zed, hasn't been played worldwide. No one in competitive has played those champions yet, so sad face. There will be a Narg going towards Xiang, though, for OMG, and it was the Ezreal going towards Dracula for Invictus Gaming.
We really are waiting for patch 8.4 for Assassins to come back. With that 10-minute stopwatch in the current patch, I really don't think Assassins stand much of a chance. And if you guys have missed the play we're talking about with Icon, he actually played a 1v4 and killed 2 people. Even though they lost the game, that play was the highlight of the entire series.
Yes, it was. OMG, however, will ban away Jace and Gangplank away from the Shy, who still has the possibility to pick up a carry in the top lane. Will be a Vladimir ban, actually, from Invictus Gaming here.
This is the pick that
has
been doing very well for Icon in the mid lane. It is a flex pick for OMG. They're showing a lot of respect from Invictus Gaming. On the other side, however, OMG, I think Xiang kind of admits his defeat to the Shy and bans out the Gangplank in return.
Yeah, even though people are saying that Nard does well into Gangplank, which is true in the matchup, it doesn't work out in terms of gold. You look at the numbers after 10 minutes, it's like, why does Gangplank still have double the gold that I have? Why is this the case? So just ban it away, get it off the table. Kassadin going to be coming in here for OMG.
It's a good solo pick into the Azir, but however, you really need a very strong early game jungle to make that pick work. Because if that jungler pick doesn't help out the Kassadin and get through the early phases, we're going to see what happened in game 1, and IG just choked the life out of OMG.
But what does Jericho have in the bank? Because we look towards him, he usually goes towards the Sejuani or some supportive pick. Will he actually have something that has pressure over the Sejuani right here? That is the question. Is Invictus Gaming will lock in Alistair?
It's really hard to say because we haven't seen Jakku play. This is his first series in 2018, but I would say you either go the Lee Sin or the Rengar. Those are the two picks I'm thinking about. Rengar has really shown a high tick of priority currently in the LPL. Players have figured out that, hey, once you W, you use that gray health to negate the domination coming out from the Electrocute coming out from other junglers. He basically has no losing matchups. He can beat everyone in that jungle duel.
It's going to be a Scion pickup here from Invictus Gaming. First one we've seen in the LPL, at the very least. Not the first one we've seen worldwide. They'll be going up to the Shy in the top lane.
Very interesting pick right here. A very strong laning pick. Also comes in as a very good tank later into the game. We've seen a bit of diversity in terms of what he takes in that top lane. Grasp of the Undying and also Smeb taking that Glacial Augment. So a lot of interesting things. The Nunu comes out. What?
Let's go. OMG, pick up Nunu. I mean, okay, we need to do some talking on this pick because it's 8.2. Nunu has been buffed. Yes, I believe the hotfix has gone in, so the Fists of Fury aren't quite there. But Nunu, definitely a champion you would expect more to see with Azir because he's basically a free... He's a walking Nash's tooth now. But he's actually going to give that to Kassadin right here.
All right, so I can actually see the Nunu working quite a bit here just because of the attack speed slow. You have to remember that Nunu does have 2 cripples on his set. So against Azir and Ezreal, that's actually fairly useful. He will be lowering the attack speeds on IG overall quite a bit. So late game team fight, that actually kind of works for them. And you also have to remember that in this patch 8.2, Nunu was given magic damage on hit. If he gets the, I believe it's called full stomach or something of that nature. He gets the Q and he gets more auto attack. Well fed, yes. Thank you, well fed. He is able to bully out these tank junglers by just following them around their jungle and continuously punching them. Which is a hilarious animation. I really like that.
Yeah, they haven't changed it actually. I think it's the same animation from Season 1. So he still just kind of does this weird headbutt punch thing.
Xiang is kind of looking like he's...
Did you actually just pick Nunu?
Yeah, he has that look of disbelief on him. It's like, okay, we're in it for a long day.
Scrims. Well, let's see if this Nunu works out because Jericho, maybe that was the trump card. Bringing Jericho in today is like, don't worry guys, I've practiced 8.2 all my life. Let's go, Nunu coming in.
Alright, so we have seen the Nunu Azir composition being tried a couple times across all regions. I believe it was 4 games before Chinese New Year, and only one of them won, so not a great success,
but in theory, it's super good.
In theory, it's super good. So I went back to the last LMS game, and I caught AHQ just trying this composition. And your idea is really if the enemy team ever gives up on Baron control, then you can rush that Baron objective super fast. It's 10 seconds when Baron first comes out. And 10 seconds is incredibly short.
Yeah, like let's not forget how much control he has over objectives at all stages of the game. You know, you can get multiple points in that consume. You can move towards the dragon. The first one's actually going to be another Cloud Dragon, so you would hope that it was something else. But we could see like a 4 or 5 minute dragon coming out of just a solo from Nunu here.
That is definitely a possibility. And if you think about like Chelly, who also does very well with Gunsoo Rage play with the attack speed, they could try to kind of play around their objectives. But to be honest, Nunu really isn't the pick I was looking for. This is another pick that, well, being experimented a lot on, hasn't really found that much success.
Yeah, that is definitely a problem. But how can it fit into the composition right here? Like, who's he going to be using the Blood Boil on? I know there's only one magic user, so I feel like I have to know which one it's going to be. But also, it gives attack speed. So, is there a potential for it to go on Chelly, or do you just expect it to go over to Icon for the extra AP?
I mean, if you think about it, in a gank situation, it would actually go very well on 5. Like, you could just, like, tell him to go up there and, like, punch him.
That's true, yeah, concussive blows. You could stack it up, like, almost instantly.
Like, in case he kind of misses his Q or something.
It does mean double Guardian will be on the team now because you have both Jericho on Nunu and 5 on Braum. So you can see some of the changes coming in. We were just talking about the extra attack damage from Q when you get well fed.
I can actually read this.
I can't.
It gives extra AP up to 40%.
I can pretend I can read it because I know the change, but I actually can't.
It's really great for color casters that they show this, so we don't have to like keep it on hand.
No, Clement, it's good for you because you know Mandarin, so you
yeah.
can read it. But no other color caster is it good.
Oh, that's a good point. Sorry to you guys. Sorry to Raz. But to be serious, I think the Nunu pick is a pick where they want to contest the enemy jungle. Basically, this is not a pick that's very easy to remove from your own jungle once he comes like waltzing in. So it's kind of keep check on Ning and not let him have the same effect that he did on the first game.
Yeah, it's like a more toxic Ivan. It's very difficult to really counter jungle Nunu. In fact, Nunu can just walk into the jungle and counter jungle you. There's not a lot you can do about it. He's picked up double buffs already, but it will be Ning actually going into that side of the jungle, taking with the Crab on that side. It looked like it was buff to buff plus Grump and Crab from Ning.
Yeah, and we can really see Ning having a very high priority on those scuttles. So far we've seen in the LPL, there's been a lot of interesting pathing where people kind of delay their buff takes and go for that scuttle, especially Sofem, who really kind of started popularizing that trend.
We haven't even touched on the Sion in the top lane so far, so we should probably talk about that one. You were talking about has been picked up in the LCK before. It's actually going to be Comet coming in here from the Shine, not going to be the Grasp in this one.
My bad. Actually, Comet is the most common keystone up there for the Sion. He really has a lot of poke potential with the Q and also the E as well. So just taking that and also having the shield means that he has a lot of favorable trades.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen Grasp before as well because the extra health that you get, and Sion just gets really, really big as you get later on into the game. So Grasp is still an option, but yeah, as you said, will still be the common in this one from the Shy. And you can see right there, it's going to take Transcendence. Got Nullifying Orb as well.
This is interesting for him taking conditioning. A lot of times we do see overgrowth just because it works so well with your health stack.
Oh, Jericho running face first into Rookie and Ning, setting up a mini death brush at the bottom side of mid lane this early on. They just know Nunu's going to waltz into pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, so the Nunu was playing his hand a little bit too much over there. So we could see he was already got vision on the top side of the map. Think he could just walk in to the bottom side as well, but Invictus Gaming put a stop to that. It's still very important for Jeku to show up mid just because Icon was having such a hard time. He's getting pushed in very heavily there.
Yeah, it's still a mid lane's very much a matchup right here that you need to have some jungle presence. So even if it's walking in and having to flash away, it's at least the Nunu is right here. So we'll be able to pressure that 2 versus 2 just a little. Bottom lane, Jaculov picking up the priority on that Ezreal right here. Again, going for that Kleptomancy pickup once again. And Chelly and Five how to play into this one as they continually get pushed underneath their tower.
What's really important about the Ezreal matchup these days is that one of you, either you yourself or your support, picks up that minion dematerializer so you can continue the lane push. Ezreal, not really great at the wave clear, but if he has that minion dematerializer, he can have the effect he is having right now.
And again, mid being pushed in on top of that from Invictus Gaming. So we're really looking for winning lanes here for OMG, because that's pretty much the story. We need OMG to actually get out of the laning phase so they can look at skirmishes. And a lot of that we were saying was going to come from the jungle. Now it's the Nunu. Looking at actually how the Nunu is functioning. Top lane is winning because it's range versus melee matchup currently. Mid lane is surviving. Bot lane is currently surviving, though they have just picked up a mini-wave advantage, pushing back towards the Ezreal now.
If you look at the compositions right here, this is the classical OMG comp. It doesn't really scream to you as a coherent comp in terms of a 5-man, but they do have some good lanes here and there. They have a good top lane matchup, they have a good bot lane matchup, and individually speaking, Cassidy, once he hits 6, does have a chance to solo kill Rookie in the mid lane as well. Classical OMG type of ban pick, but the question is, can you get those advantages in lane? Because if you don't, the ban pick phase just doesn't work.
Exactly, and unfortunately OMG getting 1 and 4 RNG there. First dragon of the game that Nunu almost always picks up for free because he's able to solo it so early on. Will be the Cloud Dragon here. It's going to be Infernal on the next one, so if he can actually stay around there and control the vision, then Jericho should be able to pick up that Infernal. That would be fantastic. I think Icon finds it hilarious that Nunu does solo Dragon, just looking at the player cams.
Yeah. So far, it's really going to be about item timings for the bot lane. We know that Nunu is going to have control of this bottom side just because he's Nunu. He can walk into the enemy jungle without really getting punished. But it really is going to come down to like what items Chelly is on, what items Jackie Love is on in the next 6 minutes when the Infernal Drake comes up.
Seeing if they can actually pressure that one out. First back of the game coming in for Xiang as well. See what it's going to be because his counterpart has picked up a Glacial Shroud. It would just be the phase, so going towards just a normal black cleave in the top lane for Xiang. We'll actually see if he goes for the build we were saying earlier today from Mara and actually going for the rapid fire cannon. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Baolan getting a nice double knock up there with the aftershock and the stun down onto Chelly. This is going to be a lot of damage, forcing out the flash, turning it around though. In comes the Ignite and 5, chasing out to Jackie Love. And Chelly, he falls. Jackie Love, can he get out alive? Because 5, he's raining down hell on him right now, but Baolan, he's got his cooldowns back up. Flashes forward, 5, managed to get it with the Winter's Bite. He'll fall right now to a very furious Baolan, but it's a 2-for-1 trade.
Such a close fight coming out there. Chelly just one auto attack short on getting that first blood on Jackie Love. Jackie Love able to come out of the stun right in the nick of time, auto attack and Q at the same time. Slight burst of damage takes down Chelly.
That was really, really unfortunate coming out there from Baolan, though the Shy is looking for a trade in the top lane. Uses the ultimate to dodge the CC coming in from Xiang. Now he's looking for the chase down. What was that extra damage coming out from the Shy? Unreal. And the Shy just adds another solo kill to his repertoire. We know he was the second highest at the start of the series. He's gunning for first.
And you never expect that coming out from Sion. You're like, he's a big bumbling tank. Where does all this damage come from? And suddenly he solo kills you in the top lane.
So I will talk about that one more time because I was more lackadaisical at the start of it because I wasn't expecting Xiang to continue trading against that. He didn't even burn his flash. So what the Shy did is he used his ultimate to dodge the CC out from Xiang on the initial wallop so he can continue hitting him, dodges forwards, gets the distance to close, and then Xiang just stands there and takes it. He doesn't choose to back away. Once that happens, you don't have the CC, just leave. You're not going to win against that.
Yeah, it's a lot of people really underappreciate the damage that can come out from Sion early on. Even though he doesn't build offensive items, he does have that armor shred, so a lot of his skills do hurt a lot. And you can see the shield popping right here for the Shy, just massive amounts of damage.
I mean, at the same time, Xiang also tanked a full decimate to the face.
Yes,
he let him charge up right there, didn't dodge out of it. Like, you need to move around that, especially as a ranged champion or one that's going to turn back into a ranged champion,
That
but
really
didn't do so.
Inexperience.
Yeah, in the
Xiang's
matchup.
part. Yeah, probably didn't know the matchup as well as he should have. And to be fair, we were caught off guard as well.
Yeah, I mean, Sion has been picked up worldwide, but it's the first one in the LPL. At the same time, it's something that you have to be prepared for. And yes, like, inexperience against playing it is obviously a problem, but right there, that is a rude awakening and something that you can't take back in this game. So Invictus Gaming winning the top side now, what does it actually mean for the game? Well, the lane that was winning is now losing. So is there any winning point on the map now for OMG?
And the answer is no. They're all losing by CS, and they're trying to make things change here, though.
They're trying it in the bottom lane. 5 will get the stun down onto the support. In comes Icon as well. Jericho rallying into the bottom side for the play. Ning getting chased down along Jackalope, but he's looking for the burst damage in from Icon. Rookie with the ultimate. The Emperor's Divide comes up and should be able to prevent any more deaths as Icon comes in, lands the nullifying orb, or rather the Q. And will not be getting any more from this bot lane play. It looks like they are chasing down Rookie towards the mid lane.
Really good play there from the double teleport coming out from OMG. I mean double teleport because their top laner and their mid laner both have the teleport summoner. Able to make a catch out there onto Jackie Love. And I think the important thing is just to look at the way the team fights kind of work. Jeku can do that over and over again in terms of team fighting. He can flash in on the composition and then cripple 2 targets, which makes the attack speed from IG very, very low. This is one thing that is very underestimated on Nunu's kit, is that if he can get that cripple on your backline, he actually takes away a lot of damage. And you also have to factor in, he does typically does get into the Frozen Heart and into the Randuin's Omen, which both slow attack speed.
And he's going to be very annoying for attack speed-based champions. So luckily, Jackalove is on Ezreal this game, but Rookie is going to be very annoying for him as he gets later on into this game. Constant attack speed slows. Though that was really good from OMG, getting a kill back in the bottom lane into at least trying to get one of these lanes rolling, and the fact that Chelly was already doing okay. We are looking towards Baolan, looking for this gang into the mid lane. Icon headbutting him away. I think they just want the tower right now more than anything, knowing that casting can rift walk at will. So indeed, will not look for the kill, but should be able to knock down this tower here.
This is kind of brutal. Like, if you look at IG's bot lane,
Wow, they get the lockdown onto Icon. Can they get the following CC? That's the question. Icon trapped in place, and that will be the kill.
That was completely unnecessary. You know, like, Icon flirted with death the first couple moves around. He headed back, and he figured, wait a minute. Invictus Gaming, they don't feel like they want to kill me. Goes back around for the third time. That's a bit much.
Yeah. Third time's the charm, unfortunately. And it will be a kill down onto Icon. So mid lane's died, bot lane's died, top lane's died. Luckily, the Nunu hasn't died yet. He's been trying to maintain jungle control. And while that was happening, did pick up the Rift Herald. So they have that going for them. Ooh, just out of range.
Good reaction there from Jackie Love. And this really impacts the next Drake because it is an Infernal Drake. And without the mid lane tower down, it's pretty much IG's for the taking. It really narrows down OMG's way to getting back into the game.
Really looking for those power points. Can they get out of the laning phase and look for skirmishes? What we said, well, currently they're all mostly behind with towers dying. Mid lane's already fallen. So mid lane, probably the worst tower to fall this early for OMG. Now able to pivot around the mid lane, look towards the dragon, look towards the bottom lane, even the top lane if they want it. But seems like Infernal Dragon being up, then Invictus Gaming will be around the area. As you can see, Baolan is already looking for these wards.
Jiko is actually in a very dangerous position. He was spotted coming out of his own jungle, and we can see the collapse coming in from Invictus Gaming immediately.
Yeah, pushing out this wave here. They've even got Ning pushing into the jungle, able to get a lot of deep wards down. There's a ward down on Raptors, there's a ward down on Gromp. There's literally nowhere where Jericho can go right now where he's not going to be lit up.
And I think we do need to kind of talk about the problems that OMG have faced so far as a team. It's that they have great laners, but they really have never had that top tier jungler. They have 4 junglers on their roster currently, but none of them have been really eye-popping. A lot of them have been on other teams and haven't found success there. So you can see the kind of problems that OMG is facing. Good laners, but not a really top tier jungler to take them over the top.
Yeah.
Like, to tie it over the top like IG does have.
That'll just mean the first combat dragon of the game will go over to Invictus Gaming. Next one's going to be Infernal as well. This feels really bad for OMG. The one dragon they do get will be the Cloud. The next 2 will be Invictus Gaming's most likely. Both of them are Infernal. Plus, when you have Nazir on the enemy team, his damage can be ramping even faster. Bottom lane now pushing in, just trying to pressure up against this turret, but it's going to be quite difficult. Again, top lane, the Shy using Unstoppable Onslaught.
He has no mana though, so just trying to chunk out Xiang right there.
It's actually gone. It looks like it's a Righteous Glory early. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Rookie landing the Emperor's Divide, following down onto Icon as well, waiting for this Rift Walk to happen. Rookie, can he chase any more? 6 seconds left on the shifting sands. Icon, another jump over the wall, and will be able to get to safety.
Icon in a really bad position right now. It hasn't even finished his Abyssal Mask, is just kind of going in for a little bit more damage because he needed that pick early. Laning phase has been horrible for him. That needless death in the mid lane also really slowing his entire build down. So OMG's like win lane, win game strategy so far being completely shut down by Invictus Gaming.
Stalled out, yeah, and it's not for want or lack of trying. Like, they did definitely try something different in the second game, bring the cast into mid lane. Nunu in the jungle as well for hopefully control, but it just hasn't really worked out. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, the ultimate does land onto Jackulov. Multiple teleports coming in, and Jackulov, he's stuck right in the middle of them. Can he get out though? Xiang chasing him down, and Icon will chime in for the kill. Baolan knocked against the wall. Everyone chasing down on top of him. Looks like meat back on the menu, boys. OMG will pick up the kill.
JQ definitely feeling well fed right there. They find another great pick. But my question is, why is IG's bot lane even pushing up that far? They have nowhere else on the map that is applying pressure to OMG, and that was just a very easy plan for OMG to execute right there. 5 people collapsing.
But they made it happen. They made a proactive play right there. They picked up the tower, 2 kills, and look for the follow-up play as well with the Herald. Completely blocking that two-shot barrage up and turning away with the absolute 0. This might look like a second turret here in from OMG. Ning walking into 3 members. This is very much a mistake right here. Or is it? The turnaround. Chelly lands the last arrow. Shot through the heart. Picks up the kill. So OMG still walk away with another one here, but that was very close in the end. I'm sorry, I doubted you, Ning.
Is the Shy going to go for it? No, doesn't attempt that. He probably could have got a kill because he does have the Unstoppable Onslaught. His ultimate is still up right there, but decides the better for that, backs off. They do get a lot of summoners out from OMG, though.
They do, and OMG actually pushing one back towards IG now, and they really had to do that. And the fact
Yeah.
it was the bottom tower feels really good, able to maybe contest a second dragon here now, Clement.
And the big thing is the kill distribution for OMG has been spot on. Kills onto Icon, onto Chelly. If you look at their 5 kills, they're very well distributed, and that's going to help them a lot in this next coming Infernal fight. This is the big fight that they're looking for to make them, to take them back into the game and even hopefully put them over Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, for all of the struggles that OMG have had so far in this game, they're still able to make these plays, and really it had to happen right then. That was the window that they had that was very rapidly closing, so well played to OMG for really capitalizing on that one. This blue buff has been alive for a long time. We saw Rookie actually pressuring it before when he pushed out Icon. Now OMG were trying to take it. Not going to happen because, again, being pressured by IG. So this will remain standing for a little bit longer. Now Jericho is actually putting pressure down onto it.
I think my big question for the next Infernal Drake fight is, how is the Shy going to come into the fight? We've seen a lot of ways the Sion can be used. You know, he can ult from a very long distance to come into the fight, but the major way we've seen Sion engages being played in LCK is Sion actually teleports into the fight and then flashes onto an enemy carry and then ours.
Right.
Just for that guaranteed kind of,
blank.
yeah, the point blank stun. And also with it's the Righteous Glory. What you can do is you can actually tag your Righteous Glory, walk up to the person, and then use your R, which looks really funny and kind of feels redundant. But the LCK has been playing him that way just for the guaranteed success.
Yeah, it means there's zero chance to mess up, and it's follow-up CC as well. The fact you can also land the Q on top of that, like, they're just slowed, knocked up, CC'd forever.
Yeah, you really don't want people like Five and Braum blocking your ultimate.
Jericho still looking for this play, though. Going to get the snowball
There's
down
that
onto
funneling
Rookie. Icon following up as well. In comes Ning for the
lot of
counter
damage.
gank. Yeah, lots of damage onto Rookie. Unfortunately, unable to finish him off because Sejuani is here, though.
Still
Icon
going in.
goes
Gets the
in,
kill.
finishes him off with the force pulse. Now he will chase down onto Ning. This will be a very long chase as Jericho literally did a loop-de-loop all the way around.
That was kind of funny. I thought Jericho was at least going to tap Ning on the way out, you know, like a friendly pat on the back, but he just goes over and puts blood boil on Icon. It's like, do I get a post-mortem, like do I get like a Postmos's assist or something like that? Yeah,
Unfortunately
doesn't
not.
happen.
And Jericho now is just able to be a pest. He knows that mid lane's not there to react, so he can just pressure down onto these jungle camps now. But OMG starting to win out in these skirmishes, and it is actually off the back of Icon in the end. While the laning phase didn't go so well, Icon is actually turning on in these skirmishes.
It's just all about getting the kills, man. If you're playing the assassins, one thing you can never shy away from doing is picking up the kills. And so far, Icon has been doing that. And we do have to remember that Icon, with presence of the mind, it doesn't even matter how much mana he has. If he gets the kills, he can keep them rolling through the entirety of the fight.
That's all he really needs. And he has got Abyssal Mask for the start of this build. We'll be moving into Lich Bane as well. So he's got a little bit of tanky stat there for himself. Top lane still holding strong for the Shy, but no one has really gone to top lane island just yet, apart from these two top laners themselves. Dragon has just spawned, Infernal Dragon, so Invictus Gaming, of course, eyes are going to be down there for them.
Jericho, get out, get out.
He needs to get out right now, not the place that Nunu wants to be. The Shy going to be teleporting down as well to zone away this Nunu. And unfortunately, he cannot really be a pest. The Shy probably wants blood, though, to make this teleport worth it. We'll be looking for the Decimate. Doesn't quite land. We'll back away.
That was actually really poorly set up from OMG. They understood that this was the point that they kind of had to take to come back into the matchup, but Nunu was there late. None of their lanes were really prepped up for them, and the Shy just playing Sion the way we see in the LCK, able to very easily pick up the Infernal Drake.
It's going to be the combo CC onto Jericho right here. Instant stop on the absolute zero. Not going to happen there, Jericho. And going to be a kill there for Invictus Gaming.
Jericho trying to get those wards down, anticipating the reset from Invictus Gaming, but the Shy was just there all along. He didn't go anywhere. It's like he didn't base, just waiting there for the wards to come in.
It was way too soon. I mean, where would he have gone?
Yeah,
it's right after the play.
Weird misplay from OMG coming out again.
And Invictus Gaming taking this opportunity to go towards the Baron. Xiang is pressuring. Here comes the
Mega
teleport as well out from Icon. Five pushing up. Baolan knocks him away though. And Sejuani gets a very easy smite down to the Baron. Now chasing down onto Five. The fight is split and the Assassin looking to get the kills here, but Icon can't quite get it. Xiang jumping into the back. Rookie managed to escape. And now Dracula 1 versus 1 against Xiang. Make that a 4 versus 1 as the rest of the team arrives. A 1 for 0 and the Baron chasing down onto Chenny now and Five. 2
Still
versus
going
5.
for it.
Really do not want to be here right now.
Watch
Chelly,
this glory comes
great
in.
follow-up by Baolan. 2 kills over to Invictus Gaming, plus the 1 added earlier. 3 kills and the Baron.
Now, I have to say that that fight should not have been as close as it was. You could see that Ning and Baolan were really very, very far in front of their carries and basically gave Icon a lot of time to go solo on Azir or even the Ezreal. And that's one of the big problems we've seen from Invictus Gaming is that their front line and their back line are not very well coordinated. However, props to them. They do take out Jakku and move instantly to the Baron. Very easy pickup for them.
Yeah, it was a little bit awkward for a couple seconds because it looked like Caston was going to start popping carries.
Yeah.
But luckily, Rookie managed to get out on a sliver of HP. We can see that one more time. So the smite not even there at this point in time. And yeah, really eyes on Icon.
Yep. Good coordination there. Icon goes in first to get the Emperor's Divide and leave that solo for Xiang versus Rookie to happen. Xiang not having a great game, you know, in not having a good lead in the lane either. Not enough damage to really take that out. And Ning holding on to his ultimate all that time, able to pick up Chelly.
To be fair, at that point, Xiang definitely expected if the fight went well, then Casting would be with him, able to finish off those kills, because they were literally one tap. Though Icon's trying to do the same in the bottom lane. Icon, he's just walking right into Rookie's damage. Xiang pushing up though, and here comes the decimating smash onto 3. 1 kill, 2 kills. Xiang left by himself. 3 mopped up by Rookie for a triple.
Yeah, and IG just really punishing the overreaches from OMG. OMG know that they have to do something. Whoa!
Oh, all the way into the back line. Down goes Chelly, and support soon to follow. In comes the redemption, and that's a clean ace and a massive push on the bottom side with Baron buff for Invictus Gaming.
That was some tier A drifting right there. Did you see that?
Oh,
Chelly
yeah.
was hiding behind the tower. He's like, no way he's going to hit me. And he just drifts right past the tower
He's got
into
the
his
wall
face.
drift on point. This could be a lot right here. 10 seconds left on the carry of Icon. 4 seconds left on Jakku and a minion wave. All 5 members up from Invictus Gaming. They might just do it right here. Jakku starts walking towards them, doubles back. Icon looking for the assassinate, but he jumps face first into 3 players. He goes down. Xiang knocked away, and OMG cannot scramble off of their spawn pad right now. Invictus Gaming finish off the Nexus and make it the 2-0 sweep over OMG.
Once more, we see Invictus Gaming do have the number from OMG. That makes it a 7 loss streak against this team. And we can see the problems surfacing from OMG. They want to play strong lanes, they want to win early. But when you don't really have the top tier jungler, and when you're facing a team that arguably has better individual talent like Invictus Gaming, you just don't have a game plan anymore.
No, you do not. Invictus Gaming outclassed OMG in what were meant to be their strengths. And also jungle. I mean, we talked about it a bunch in that game, and don't want to sound like a broken record, but that was a major problem coming in for OMG, because you look towards Jakku and then you compare him with Ning. Ning was all of that matchup, and even with a Nunu pick, that was definitely a curveball coming in, but that wasn't able to do anything in that second game.
You can see that Ning defended his own jungle very well, prioritized those early scuttles so that Nunu couldn't have his way in the jungle, and I feel like just OMG, they're missing so many crucial timings in their own game plan. That Infernal Drake handed over way too easily to IG. That should have been the turning point in the game. They had the good kill distribution. You know, Icon was rolling. They just gave up the fight completely. And then needless mistakes coming out from Icon, from Jakku, really hands over the Baron to Invictus Gaming. Like, even though we talk about the individual talent on Invictus Gaming, they're not really beating them with raw strength. They're keeping cool and composed and just playing their advantages out slowly, and that's enough to beat OMG, which is a huge signal for OMG, because like, what are OMG going to do now? They're losing on individual talents, they're losing on like kind of the map play as well. I just don't know where they're going to go next for this team.
Because it's not for a lack of trying, right, for OMG, because there were flashes in the pan, right, but they were quickly snuffed out constantly by Invictus Gaming right here, because OMG, they would look for a play, they got a couple good ones into the bottom side of the map, picking up those kills, into towers, into the Rift Herald. That's good stuff, but that was really the only one play I can remember from OMG in this game. It was only 24 minutes, it was barely half an hour coming into this game. And Invictus Gaming, they pick up a kill, they pick up an objective, and they snowball it so well that they just snuffed out OMG before they could do anything, really.
This is classical IG. They're so scary when their lanes get released their laning burdens. Basically, they are the best 20-minute GD team in the LPL. That 2.7k lead they usually get. You look at this game, they were pushed back in their lanes a couple of times, but once they got out of that, once they started moving as a unit, that 3-man, that 4-man, they're really unstoppable on the map. They're really unrivaled in terms of their like 3 or 4-man skirmish or playmaking ability, and they're really looking like a very scary team at this point.
And really, that's just is so impressive, right? The fact that they not only picked up kills in their own conference, but picked up kills and wins against the Western Conference as well. So Invictus Gaming really putting their money where their mouth is. But that's it from us. We are going to send it now over to Alistair to take a look at that series between OMG and Invictus Gaming.
Thank you, gentlemen. And Raz, I honestly don't know what to say. That was an absolute shellacking coming out from IG.
You feeling a little bit hot there, Fish?
Oh yeah, I had to get rid of my vest because, you know, it's winter in Shanghai at the moment, but IG on fire, this place is, you know, warmed up tremendously, Raz.
Definitely hot in here, I'll tell you right now. I had to unbutton, so that's good. We're fine, we're fine.
But bringing back to this match, and we can start off with picks and bans again, because that's where we kicked it off last time when IG picked up a win. This time I really want to take a look at OMG, because OMG had some unique picks, and this time they set Icon up for success.
Yeah, and here's the biggest point for OMG this split. They haven't gotten a win on red side. A lot of their victories have just been on blue side, and the real worry has been, I mean, we've shown a highlight onto Icon. It's because he hasn't been getting his counter picks a lot of the time. That's been what's been making this team very strong. In the past split, this split, especially this split, it needs to be on Icon. So he picks himself the Kassadin, and he does well on it. Like, that's all you really need for himself. And you're like, all right, excellent. Even though 5 minutes in there, Jackie Love has a 2v2 outplay on the bottom side of the map. Even though Shy solo kills top side of the map on Sion, of all things, you're like, okay, sure. Both sides of the map are failing, but he comes up big, and it's just disappointing that this was the result.
I mean, he was able to turn around that bottom lane fight. After the 2-on-2 outplay that came up from Jackie Love as well as Baolan, we saw the rotates down into the bottom lane, multiple teleports being used, picking up a lot of kills there, and eventually pushing for that turret as well. And IG still, even though they were behind against OMG, they were making smart plays. They were trying to come back into the game. But unfortunately, as some games of League of Legends do, all came down to a Baron fight eventually.
Of course, of course.
You hate to see it, but it happens.
You do hate to see it, because a lot of the pressure that OMG has had across the map kind of fizzles a little bit, and they have to play towards what is a very fast Baron coming out of Invictus Gaming. They had great vision control towards this. OMG slipped up just a little bit, trying to set up their 1-3-1, got caught off by the Azir speed that he was able to take down the Baron, and so IG are like, okay, we have Baron. Guess what? We have the fight. Guess what? We have Varus. And they turn that into a full clear. And you're like, okay. And then, I don't want to go this forever, because they end up going towards the bottom lane. And then they find, of course, Clement says it best, drifts to success, finding the kill underneath the secondary tower. It's just like, OMG could have saved that game. They could have elongated a little bit and tried to go back onto their plan of getting Kassadin onto side lane after they dealt with the Baron that IG had. But they just trickled onto the map and then just got blown apart every single time.
And on top of that, we saw the individual performances coming out from IG. Not only the solo kill from the Shy, Ning in the jungle looking really good as well. Rookie stepping up to end the game. Jackie Love took a step back this match because he was being heavily targeted by OMG. But there's one man you can count on who has picked up MVP once again. Baolan for Invictus Gaming. On the Alistar, he was a highlight reel, playing the champion fantastically.
Yeah, not often. I'll say not at all. You get a double support man of the match, but Baolan will do that for you. Picking up the Alistar. Double tank here. Tom Kench game 1. Alistar game 2. We already saw the highlight package just a little bit earlier on. His Alistar plays were great. Sure, sometimes he would miss a headbutt pulverize, but he would still roam towards the mid lane. That was a very key thing, by the way. When they were sieging up on towards the mid lane outer turret, Kassadin overstayed his welcome, but it was the Alistar that made that play possible. So the roams from Baolan are still coming in hot.
And with that, Invictus Gaming able to pick up another win here. They propel themselves to 7-1, and that ends the games for today. So we can take a look at where the standings are now in the LPL. Invictus Gaming, as we mentioned, top of their conference, they're 7-1. However, in the first match, Raz, TOP, the team that relegated Vici a couple of seasons ago, they're able to humiliate them here again today.
Done it again.
They come back from the LSPL, they try, they're in the LPL now, but yet to pick up a victory. TOP, congratulations to them, they end a long loss streak. However, one team that we really have to point out here now is OMG. They're sitting at the bottom of the bottom 3 of their group, 2-5. Last match they play here, here on out, they're going to be playing at home at Chengdu.
And you have to hope that they get home side advantage. I mean, they will, but we've seen LGD and Snake kind of have that buff in a sense, the home side buff going to the Chengdu. Something has to change for themselves. I think that going back into towards champion pools, maybe trying to figure out if topside needs to be the carry point of the map. I know the LPL as a whole has been a very topside heavy and 80 carry heavy meta, really, a lot of the times. And OMG lacks that just a little bit, especially the stark contrast on the bottom side of the map. Chelly, sure, he's been getting a bit of resources for himself, but he's just not outputting any damage when it comes to damage per minute. And he's going up against Jackie Love that is just topping the charts in that sense. So they just need to find themselves, kind of buffing themselves up on the bottom side and the top side if they ever hope to take victories.
Especially since a lot of the focus now is on Icon. We talked about this throughout the series today. He is the main focal point for OMG. When he was doing well in the Castle, and that's when OMG were doing well as well. They had the jungler backing up, Tieko stepping in today.
Yeah.
Wasn't really the impact they needed, but did perform well. And they still have World 6 as well as Firelord sitting in the backseat, waiting for their chance to shine as well. And then you have to question, is it going to be a psychological thing? Now that they have the home stadium, now they have the home crowd advantage throughout the rest of cross-conferences, as well as moving into the final group stage in their own conference. It's going to be interesting to see how they improve.
And it does kind of input a lot of pressure. I know that LGD felt that pressure when they initially started losing sets within their own home stadium. You have the fans that are initially behind you, and we feel like you're putting down your own fans, your own organization. There's that much more drive to get better, and I do think that that's going to be the case here for OMG.
And we'll have to keep track of OMG and see if they are able to pull up their performance after they move to their home arena in Chengdu. That was all the matches here today. So let's take a look at the matches that will have been played tomorrow. First up, it is going to be Jindong Gaming taking on Fun Plus Phoenix, followed by LGD taking on Bilibili Gaming.
Yeah, we were talking about, of course, home stadium. Speaking of that, LGD just looking so much better, and they're going up against BLG that have been hot recently. That, for me, is going to be the match of the day.
Especially Fun Plus Phoenix in the first match against Jindong Gaming. Jindong Gaming have looked good, especially with the man on your screen, Yakao. He looks incredibly strong at the moment. FPX, they're a team that we were talking about time and time again. They haven't really shown us that performance we wanted from them, but they have looked good in the games, even the games they've lost.
Yeah, it's just swapped expectations, really. We expected Jingdong to be on the bottom of the table and Yagao to not be an impactful mid laner. We expected FPX to just be going off at the beginning of the split. Not happening. Those are different storylines altogether. So I thought that Yagao, he is turning into a little star for himself on the team. And I do want to see how he's able to continue to grow when their compositions get challenged.
Well, that first match will kickstart here at 5 o'clock Shanghai time tomorrow. And as you mentioned, the match of the week as well. Afterwards, sorry, not match of the week, the match of the day, I should say, LGD taking on Bilibili Gaming right after. It's going to be a fun one. That's going to come live from LGD's home arena. But that's all from us here today. For Raz, myself, our casters, as well as our entire production crew. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.